Yes, I'm recording. Okay, so I just want to make sure that everybody around, because I want to talk about, two assignments in particular. One that I extended till today, and everybody can hear me, right?
Yep.
Um, so anyway, wanted to make sure that everybody was up to speed. I know some of this is going to be repetitive for those of you who were there Monday, so and before. So I did know that I did get, somebody did send me a like an early version of their of their um of the weather story, and I was actually a little concerned because I was kind of thinking maybe I didn't explain this well enough or something. I'm not sure. So I am going to talk about that. Okay. So both stories basically they don't necessarily follow the traditional. Actually, hold on one second. Hi, Amber. So as I was saying, I'm really going to try to use this opportunity so we can kind of laser focus on the weather and the data journalism assignment. And so the weather assignment is supposed to be, adding the graphic element to things, and of course the data journalism assignment is too. I hope you got my late announcement there. I also actually meant to incorporate the writing of a headline in both assignments, because we did a lesson on that, and I want to make sure that we incorporate that, because that's actually part of, remember, like there's the 5 tools I've talked about. It's writing, it's editing, video, photography, and graphics. And the editing part is really actually like a lot of self-editing. You have to write your own headlines now. Didn't used to have to. So anyway, let me share the screen here. Okay. And it's sharing. There it goes. Okay. This was actually, I don't think I see Zanaya here, but anyway, this is actually one of the things that was sent to me. So this actually isn't really what I was actually for in terms of approach. I know in previous stories I've asked for reaction to things and stuff like that, but actually this isn't necessarily a reaction oriented story. That's not the main focus of the story. The focus of the story is actually to write about the weather for the next couple of weeks. And again, this is the most popular story on the web, I would say, more popular than anything that you're going to see on the New York Times right now. So right now, like already I can tell like the headline's not right. Okay. The headline actually needs to focus on, again, has to have keywords. Okay. So let me do this in track changes. Has to have keywords that are related to your subject. Okay. Or search terms. Okay. Stuff that people are going to be looking for on the web. Okay. So what they're going to be looking for is just that, weather, probably a word like outlook, maybe even, oops, I am jamming. Oops, there's an I. Okay. They're looking for like outlook, they're looking for something that actually like is concentrated on that subject. It's not a reaction story. There is reaction component to the story, but the focus of this story actually is different. The focus is actually on the weather itself. So we want to have a headline that basically says something like, and probably also the location, right? Remember who, what, where, why, when, how. So probably like New Jersey, or actually a lot of times this NJ works as a search term, as I probably described before with Governor Murphy. Actually, probably 2 of the most popular terms on the web are NJ weather. Okay. Actually, I haven't actually, I have to actually look again to see like what the weather exactly is going to be over the next 2 weeks. So let's look at where we are, and probably one of the best places to look again is the National Weather Service. Okay. Okay, so you go down here to where this is New Jersey right here, obviously. Okay. Click on New Jersey. Oh, look at this. We have some, when it's colored, that means something is going to happen. Okay. Not necessarily like extraordinary, but when you click on Middlesex County, okay, this Middlesex County right there in the center there, you'll see there is actually a hazardous weather outlook. Okay. So actually things are going to start off and get a little exciting. Scattered severe thunderstorms are possible. I didn't see that earlier in the week when we first talked about this. So, all right. So basically, and then, okay, so it's actually, you're going to be writing this actually for the deadline is actually tonight. So I guess maybe by the time you actually finish writing this might be too old. Okay. If you want to include it, that's fine. If you don't, that's fine too. Okay. But there is supposed to be some kind of like, not supposed to be that great in terms of weather next couple weeks. Okay. You see, chance of showers over the weekend. People really care about the weekend, obviously, especially as the weather gets warmer. So they want to see if like, okay, is it going to be washed out or what? Around this time of year, things are being planned. It's just, people start to, I don't know. They don't know they necessarily have picnics or stuff like that, but there's like, actually it's Easter weekend. I'm sorry. So for people of Christianity, they will be wondering whether like, because they're gonna have off probably tomorrow, maybe because tomorrow's Good Friday. And they're going to want to know like how things are going to be for the weekend. They might be inviting relatives over, that sort of thing. So you actually have Easter weekend incorporated into it too. And actually, I should have thought of this earlier. That actually could be, another term, Easter. No matter what faith you are, that's going to be something that people are going to be looking for. Easter, or you get, there's rainy weather for Easter weekend. I don't know. And then maybe like, actually that's probably like, and then you could probably, actually that's probably like good enough at this point. People are going to want to know what the first things are for obviously Easter is going to be the most important weekend of them all. So they're going to want to know what's going on then. That was well timed. Maybe mixed weather. You can repeat a word, mixed weather, next 2 weeks or something. Okay. But something that basically kind of incorporates everything that everybody's looking for, and it probably would put into a Google search. Okay. All right. So that's your headline. Maybe you put in a verb like expected. I know actually, I know I've said like use present tense typically in headlines, but in this particular case, it's actually future. So it's a future tense for the headline. Okay. But you notice that like there's words that I've took out here that are missing. Basically, you try to make it compact, as direct as possible, but it's not exactly written like a typical sentence. Okay. Maybe you do something like this: rainy weather expected in New Jersey. Rain, or maybe just rain expected for New Jersey Easter weekend, or Easter weekend in New Jersey. Okay. Usually, like a lot of times, the words are in cat or uppercase, the first letter. Doesn't really matter. There's different styles for each one. Okay. But you just try to make sure that it's actually focused on the topic at hand, and it has like the key words that are, people will be looking for and searching for. Okay. Any questions on that? Okay. All right. Then you want to have like, again, like a lead that kind of reflects that. Okay. But it's actually a sentence. Okay. So, Easter weekend could be a washout. as, I don't know, rain and sunny weather is expected to hit New Jersey over the next 2 weeks. Okay. Okay, write that. I mean, just something that's basically,
Why you hang it? If you was gonna
you know,
call back,
what is
why you
expected.
hang
You know, that's all you have to write is basically something general over the next 2 weeks. Okay, according to forecasters, something and some sort of attribution that basically, you know, is general. Okay. Actually, we go to another one. We go to AccuWeather, which is right here. And remember that actually right here, if you want to look out at the month, you could do weekly too, I guess, right? Actually, I just see today. Okay. Daily. Let's do daily for a sec. That's daily. Wow, it's supposed to get warm today, 85 degrees. Here's the monthly. Okay. I don't know why they wouldn't have a weekly option, but so let's see if that theirs also reflects what I just had right there. So yeah, some rain on rain. This says rain on Saturday, but that's fine. Partly sunny on Easter itself. And you can see over the next week or two, it's actually supposed to be like rain mixed in with sun. Okay. Nothing really extraordinary here. Okay. Except for today, actually. So, all right. So anyway, let's just go back to this. Okay. So for this, I mean, you could almost like go paragraph by paragraph, just almost like take like what's here in the National Weather Service, and this could be essentially like the body of your story right here. Okay. All right. See, the focus here in this story was actually like it says AccuWeather presents blah blah blah. Well, you know, I mean, there is like talk about like some weather, but there's really not enough. And then it goes right into the student's reaction. Okay. I mean, it's actually, again, it's more of a story about the actual weather itself. So, oh geez. So hold on one second. Let me just not actually want to print it that way. Hold on one sec. I'm trying to actually get it to match format. There we go. So I mean, you could actually almost just paste it in here and just basically say, you know, on Friday, there's a, just like they would read it in the weather, there's a chance of showers mainly after 2 p.m. And then of course you want to attribute it to the source. And this was actually from the National Weather Service. So you say, according to the National Weather Service, okay? It will be mostly cloudy, the high near 69. Okay. And then after that, you can actually, you don't have to call them National Weather Service. You could just call them NWS. You know, the chance of precipitation is 40%, according to the NWS. Maybe you want to jump. This actually, this is interesting. This actually says Easter is going to be sunny. So maybe my washout was a little bit over the top. So Easter Sunday will be the best day of the weekend. The NWS says it will be mostly sunny with a high of 55. Okay. All right. But rain is expected for Saturday. Okay, so you basically make this a conversation. Like if somebody was having a conversation with you about the weather, how would you explain it? How would you talk about it? Well, this is how you would do it. Okay. You would basically tell them in kind of a leisure way, you know, what is supposed to happen where, and you pick out, and then up high in the story, like the inverted pyramid, you would probably pick out the most significant events or more significant days. Like I would put Easter up high, what's expected on Easter, okay? And then after you get into like what's expected over the next week or two, and then you don't have to put in every day, okay? Like I said, just highlight the specific days where things might be a little bit more unusual than others, like maybe rain or whatever, okay? Or maybe like the temperature is supposed to be higher, especially supposed to cool down later in the week. You could be more general. You could say like in the middle of the week, the temperatures are supposed to cool down. Because here it was actually supposed to be 70 to 80 today or something like that next 2 days. And then it's going to cool down to like 44, 57. Okay. All right. Then you get into, the, actually, there is actually some like, I was actually expecting, I want the student reaction to actually be at the bottom. Okay. Because again, this is really just concentrating on the weather itself. So maybe you do something like this. Okay. One thing to keep in mind, again, we're kind of changing seasons here. So the weather is actually unpredictable. All this stuff actually about the weather itself, I wanted actually a little higher. Okay. We use full names, by the way, in our stories. Okay. So, all right. Is this you, Jack?
Yeah, that's me.
Is that you?
Yeah.
Okay. And it's BISHA, right?
Just add an A, BISAHA.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you. What was that?
Just add an A, so it's BISAHA.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Like that, right?
Yeah, you got it.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So anyway, make sure you put in the full name. Okay. We're all, this isn't Watergate. This isn't a major investigation. It's just getting people's reaction to the weather. So, a third-year student feels that the weather is confusing the body, and actually, this is kind of like a wordy quote. So I would probably say, like, you paraphrase this. Okay, the change in the weather and cold doesn't make things better for people. If any of that, maybe it's. I would just say like. Maybe just this part would be the quote, okay? Try to like paraphrase more than not, okay? Quotes are still supposed to be kind of quippy, kind of like colorful, kind of like relatively short, okay? Try to tell the story in your own words more so, okay? And yeah, that's true. Around here, the weather could be so different, so changeable. We could go from like 80 and humid to like 47 and like, and damp. So that's something you're going to see like in every comment from probably somebody. You're probably going to see so many comments from so many students, perhaps. Okay. All right. Does anybody have any questions about that? I didn't have my volume up high enough last time. Sorry about that.
Are you planning on sending me these comments?
Yeah, I can do that, Zanaya.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Okay. I decided it was a good opportunity to kind of go over it here. So, all right. Now the data journalism assignment. Okay. Yeah, I took attendance and one person didn't show up. So, all right. But thanks for everybody else for showing up. I appreciate it. Glad everybody got the message. This is actually not in student view right now. So let me put this in student view. And like I said, with the weather story, please add a headline to it because I made that late. I meant to add that as part of it. Okay. All right. So the final assignment is data journalism. And again, I went over this the other day, but I'm going to go over much of it again. So everybody's got it. Okay. As your final assignment, you're going to incorporate all elements again of that digital journalism. And again, the whole idea here again is that you know, this has actually again become the thing of the last um, um, 20 years or so, is actually writing about what they call listicles, essentially. Okay. And basically that is actually taking information from a certain place and identifying perhaps a trend. Okay. I think I showed this before, but I'm going to show it again. New Jersey actually like does a really good job as far as like releasing the school data. So we actually, this is like one of the things we do is we actually go to here, we go to the website and we pick out like, certain things that actually people would want to know about. And you'll look in here and you'll see things that, well, sometimes actually like the title is actually a little confusing because you want to find things like where's the SAT scores, but you'll see like school performance reports. Usually that's where the SAT scores are. Okay. I think that's where they usually are. Actually they have their own performance reports. So, and they go county by county. So they actually like release this information to the public. Okay. And what they do is they try to basically show people, not necessarily like what they'll do is they might rank where school districts are again in terms of like, let me just do this. In terms of SAT scores, the districts, I mean, let's see. And here's nj.com. They have a paywall and I don't subscribe. So let's see if they actually show anything there. New Jersey students scored higher on SAT entrance exam, blah, blah, blah. See how your school district ranks. I know this is actually a very wordy headline, right? This is actually a very typical headline, very like, also 2 sentences too. This is very much a, very popular thing. Sorry, this is something that's actually, I just don't really like nj.com, so I actually don't subscribe to it, but I can show you other stuff. What they do is they basically provide essentially like some overall paragraph that identifies whatever the overall trend is. And then they break it down to the minutia, like again, who, what, where, why, when, like, what was the score? How was it overall score? Why was it the way it was? Obviously like we had, the COVID pandemic probably played a role because a lot of people weren't in school and a lot of people feel like that lack of like personal engagement actually had an impact on things. So you see the state saw a big drop of students even taking the test. Okay. Let me just show you actually articles that we did in previous years. Just dealing with the just 1 second. 1 second. All right. Anyway, let me go back over here. All right. So let's see here. Again, I showed this the other day, but I'm gonna show it again. Why not? I know some people might be a little bit horrified by this one, but actually, yeah, this is actually one of the most popular stories. Is like, I hate to say it, but basically we do show that again. And then those of you in class, sorry again, I apologize for repeating this, but this is again a popular topic. People and rates have been on the rise for a while. They also added vaping into the category, so now actually rates have been even higher. So that's actually a thing now. You can see the headline right here again. NJ, Jersey school districts with the most. And sometimes a lot of these stories don't even have a verb. They just basically identify like what you need to see and what people are looking for. NJ school districts, popular search terms. Okay, people want to know what's going on, even if it's not about drug and alcohol. They might actually just like want to know what's the latest going on with their school districts. Okay, drug and alcohol. Okay, well, again, people actually look for this story like every year. I've noticed at a certain time. I think they even have a bookmark or something. But so they want to see these things: school districts, drug, alcohol. I mean, sometimes they just want to see it, not just necessarily for the list, but they want to see it because they want to see You know, what is the, you know, what's going on in their school district? Is there like a case that they should hear about? Is there like a trend of cases? Is there a certain incident that happened? And then 2021 is important because we've done it in previous years, and you know, people might be still searching for this story, which they do. They search for this story like all year. You know, these stories aren't necessarily just something they look for like that day. They look for it like, and but once it actually goes out, like we put it out on Facebook. When I was with Patch, we put it out on Facebook, and we put it out on Twitter. Okay. And then that gets a lot of looks, especially on Facebook. Even to this day, Facebook is still very popular. Despite what we've heard about it, it is still very popular. It is very much a way to get that story to leap off the page and into people's inboxes and into people's, you know, onto people's laptops and iPhones and smartphones and everything else. Okay. When we have systems that actually do that and actually like, you know, get it onto Facebook. Okay. And in fact, let me call one up right now. Morristown Patch. There's many people. We did a really good job when I was with Patch, like I would say about 10 years ago, getting people signed up for the Facebook pages. And as soon as it hits Facebook, it just like takes off. And you know, it would basically go. It's so weird how they have this right now, but usually like the top stories are at the top. I'm not sure. Oh, here's the news feed. Okay. All right. So, you know, people might even get an alert. They might get out of here. I don't know what this is. You go to newsfeed. Yeah. Okay. Well, that could have something to do with the fact that I left the company. So anyway, they have a news feed that like you see a lot of places. The New York Times has that. Running out of time already. Okay. It's quite possible I might have to actually like jump off and jump back on again, but just be aware of that. I have like about 10 minutes left. I forgot that actually this is a time limit, so but just stand by for that, okay? Anyway, all right, so I called this up, you know, and people see that, they see that spring across their Facebook page, they see that, and then also we have a thing called a breaking news alert, which I still get actually. I put that in my account. I rarely use. This is my Gmail account. You can see actually right here, they put it in red, you know, controversial New Jersey sex education standard to be reviewed. Think whatever story is at the top is usually the most popular, obviously, and whatever headlines there is, and you know, it's got like search terms in there. And yes, I know it's racy. New Jersey sex education, that's like a big deal right now because of all this talk about the so-called CRT you might have heard about, critical race theory, which I think is personally, I know I don't mean to get into politics here, but it's like a really like a made up thing. I think it's just, I mean, people trying to scare people. I think it's just racism and everything else. So anyway, now that I've said that, helped that Virginia governor win because of racism. And yes, I'll say that. I don't care. I believe it to be true. Anyway, so kind of switching gears here, you see weather is very popular. Thunderstorms, 80-degree temperatures in New Jersey forecast on Thursday. Remember I talked about that? Yep. We send those breaking news alerts out and boom, the things go up. So we send this out and things go boom and they go up because it's very popular. And then what we do is we try to present things like in a general way, like see, I've had people do this story before, and actually I got to be honest with you, I did this for my other class, which was writing for media, and most people, like half the class got it and half the class didn't. But you have the benefit of actually having like a little less than a month to do, well, less than a month to do this, but they had like a week or 2 weeks. So I think some of them got confused because they, you know, I've talked about, you got to write about the biggest, newest thing, but this is not about the latest tuition increase. This is about the latest trend. Okay. So I'm sorry, that's what the data journalism assignment is about. So that's what you want to write about is the latest trend of tuition increases. And this is about the latest trend of drug and alcohol cases. Okay. And why they may have gone up. And it says teen vaping might be driving up the numbers. Okay. And then basically we have here like some explanation of what this is. You know, we have New Jersey released its substance abuse cases reported by each school district. And then we identify like how we have it listed. where the data came from. Yep, came from the school performance reports. Okay. Yes, believe it or not, that's considered part of school performance. Some quotes. Sometimes this could be controversial the way it's released. This is important. Like in the story itself, you try to identify, like maybe highlight certain places, statistics or whatever that might stand out among the list. And, a number of suburban areas, meanwhile, showed increases. People like there's a stigma attached to the cities like Patterson, Newark, places like that. But the rates aren't necessarily as high there as they are in places like Mawa necessarily, or the increases, believe it or not, which is upstate, or Red Bank or Hazlet. Okay. So we basically highlighted some areas where we thought maybe that were like maybe more noteworthy and significant. And that's also, again, thinking inverted pyramid here. Okay. We actually have the list of the school districts at the bottom. Okay. That keeps people on the page. People actually, that's another big thing about digital journalism, is trying to make sure people stay on the page. Okay. So this is like a long story where a lot of people will look at, they might even bookmark, they might even look at it all year. Okay. But within the text itself, we kind of try to highlight, foreshadow, basically what might be like towns or whatever that might stick out among the others. Okay. All right. All right. And then maybe some explanation about maybe where this information came from and what's here. Please note that actually not included school districts that had reported no cases. Okay. That was just because, I don't know. Probably would better if we did, but we didn't. But I think it was probably because somebody said the list was probably just too long to look at, because it's actually could take for some people's computers, it could take a long time to load. So, all right. So that's basically supposed to be a model for what I'm asking you guys to do. Okay. And also, by the way, I included a video that I did for my other class, but I actually did it for like all classes that do this assignment, because I feel like it's actually a good exercise in learning how to dig a little bit for information. And I have Dave Willis as my guest. He's an Azure Park Press consumer reporter, okay, and columnist. Okay. Okay. This says actually about 4 minutes left. Can you all hear me right now? Can we all like actually sign off and sign back in again? Okay, if you could, please. Sorry to do this, but just if you could do that like next like couple minutes, I appreciate it. Okay. Okay, so I'll see you in about next 2 or 3 minutes. Okay. Bye bye.